Now we'll go to the controller, our employee controller, and when we press the update link, it's going to call the controller. So we already have the command. If it is add, it's going to call the add method. If it is list, it's going to call the list method. Now I'm going to add a case for load. If you remember, upper view, the command we give is load. So when the user press the update button, they are going to load the information about the employee in the edit form, where the user can edit it and save it. So let's call this load emp method with the request and response, and give a break. So we'll use the Eclipse to write the method for load. So hover over the mouse on the load, and you can see you have an option to create a load employee. So if you scroll down, it has written the code for you, load emp. Now let's write the load emp. So load emp, what we are going to do is we're going to read the input, the employee ID, which is centered as a parameter. If you remember, in our view emp, we have created two parameters. One is the employee ID, other one is a command. So we have this employee ID, which will have the ID of the employee which user have selected. So we need to read the employee ID. Then we will call the db utility to get the information of the employee and send it back to the update form. So we'll create a variable to read the employee ID. So I will copy the same parameter name here, employee ID, and paste, so I don't have any error. So we got the employee ID. Then we are going to use the employee DEO, that's our DB utility object, and we are going to write a method that will give the employee information about the given employee. So it gives the error because we don't have a method called getEmp. We need to do that. So once we get that, we will store this into the request object, and I'm going to call this as emp info, and the name of the object I'm going to store for this is e, and let's create a request dispatcher. So when the user load, the information is read, and I want to move to the update employee form.jsp. So this is the form that we'll create, which will show the employee information where the user can edit them and save it. So we'll forward to that the request and response. So this is what we are doing in the load employee. So whenever the user select update button, it calls this load employee function, which will read the employee ID from the input and use our DOO to get the employee information, and we'll pass this to employee info, and we call the method call the form, forward it to the view update emp form, and in the view we will go and do the all the information that put in the text box. We have an error in the getEmp. We'll fix it because we need to create the method for getEmp. So use the Eclipse to create the method. So getEmp, we are passing the employee ID and it's going to return the single employee. If you remember, we have already written a method getEmps where it returns the list of employee, all the employees. So we could use the same code but to return only the employee that user is going to edit, not all the employees. So we create a connection statement and we create a employee object result set employee, and the query could be difference. Select all from emp, and I'm going to say where id equals the id given by the in the parameter choose by the this id here. So we create a statement, execute the statement, and when the result set is having, I'm copying all the data to the IDs and create a object called result set emp, create the object, and we don't want to add it to the list, we don't have a list here, so we want only this employee. And once we finish, we close all the connections, and instead of return null, we are going to return the result set emp. So we are done with our code because we need to initialize this at the beginning. Yes, we have done our part for this. So we created a connection and we could write the query, select all from emp where id equal to the given id, and we execute the query, get all the values from the column, create an employee object, close the connection, and return it back to the calling method. So in employee controller we have this error. This is because it does not throws the exception. So let us add the throws exception. So we don't want this IO exception, just the exception is enough. Now the error is gone. Right, now we need to create this update employee form that will display the information of the employee that we received. So let's create this, and if you remember this, we have already have this add employee which will get the employee ID, employee name, and the green card information and submit. So let us want to create a form which is similar to this. So instead of typing everything, I can copy this and paste it and just rename this to, instead of add employee form, let's rename this to update employee form. So this is the name that we will be giving in the controller. So if you remember the controller, it reads the information and store it, and this is what the name we have given here, update emp form. So let's open the update emp form, and let's do the changes. So this is not add, this is going to edit the employee information. So we have the employee controller, the command. So when the user press the registration, it's not going to add, it's going to update. So we'll change the command to update. We have the name. So last time name was empty, but this time instead of placeholder, I'm going to put the value equals the value that is going to return from the our controller, which is employee info. So we'll open the update form. So this will be equals to So we have an input which will get the employee name and store it in the name here. So we will do the same thing for email. So get email. So these functions are already available in our EMP class. If you remember, we have this get ID, get name, get email, and get green card. And for the green card, yes. So here we have it in a radio button. So I want to check whether the user already have a green card. If user already have a green card, I want the has green card to be checked. Otherwise, no green card to be checked. So I want to do a condition here. So let's use the core JSTL core library conditions to do that. So whenever you want to use the JSTL core library, you need to add the JSTL. So you can copy from our previous example, and now I can use the condition to check if the user have the employee has a card or not. So now we use the core library if test equals, and let's type this code here. Saying if the test equal to employee dot green card is equals to 1. If he has a green card, if the employee has a green card, then I'm going to just for testing purpose put has card. Has a card, it displays the message has card, and let's copy this message. See, if it is 0, then no card. So let me open this back to employee list. So when I press the first button, it is has card. When I select the second one employee, no card. Yes, so it's working for us. But instead of showing has card or no card, I want to change this to radio buttons. So let's close this one, and this line I'm going to change it to the radio buttons. And if you remember, we had it in our ad, so we'll copy this radio buttons. So if the employee has a card, then has card should be checked. The has card radio button should be checked, and we have another radio button which is no card. So we have two radio buttons. So has card, the value is 1 and it is checked. No card, the value is 0 but it is unchecked. So this is if the condition is true. And if this condition is false, I'll copy the same thing, and this time I'm going to remove check from the hash card and put it in the green card. So if the employee has a green card, hash green card will be checked. If the employee doesn't have the green card, no green card will be checked. So let's check this one. Right click on the controller and run this. So when I press the first button, you can see here hash card has been checked. When I press the second button, no card has been checked. Yes, So we have done our major things. So we have added the links, and when we press the link, we load the information into the edit form. So we'll see how to, when the user modify the information and press update, it should update to the database and display it in the list.